Baby.
I bet y'all know who our dentist is, don't you? Yeah, you know what? Chuck didn't like the way our teeth looked, so he made us these pretty things. And poor old Vivian's are so loose, they fall out and she can't even open her mouth. And you know, come to think about it, that's a blessing though, isn't it? Anyway, we have a hard time talking because mine hurt my mouth, and I don't care how ugly you all think we look without them. I'm sorry, Chuck. We gotta take them out. We gotta take them out. We can't take it anymore.
Eva, do you know what? This toothbrush has the nastiest job in the world. Look at it.
Yeah, sure. You know, Vivian, when I came down here, I really and truly thought I was going to have chuck roast, green beans, mashed potatoes, the works. And darn, I found out this is for Chuck Harris.
Oh, this is mighty good food. Good food. Just missed the cornbread.
Yeah.
Needed some cornbread. My turn, your turn. My turn, my turn. I'm so nervous. Eva, do you know what 5 words are the most horrible words in the world? Scare you to death. Just scare you to death. No, no. The dentist will see you now.
You know, Vivian, when Chuck was a little boy, he said to his mama, "Mama, I think I'm going to be a heart doctor."
Oh.
And he said, "That's because I can raise a lot, make a lot of money with that." A few days later, he comes back to his mom and he says, "No, Mama, I'm not going to be a heart doctor. I want to be a dentist." And she said, "Well, why?" And he said, "Because everybody just has one heart, but they got 32 teeth."
The man can count. He went to VPI, you know. Eva, do you know that a dentist has a profession that every man in the world he wishes they had? You know why?
No.
Because that is the only time a man can tell a woman when to open her mouth and shut it.
Okay. Now, one time I went to see Chuck, and I swear I was a nervous wreck what he was going to do to me. And Chuck said, "Well, Eva, I'm going to calm you down." And as he's putting on his surgical gloves, he said, "Eva, do you know how they make these surgical gloves?" I said, "I have no idea how they make them." Chuck said, "Well, in Mexico, they've got this big tank of latex." And he said, they get the workers according to their hand size. And they dip their hands in there, they bring them out, let them dry, they become gloves, take them off, start the process all over again. Then Chuck started working on my mouth, and I started dying laughing, and Chuck said, "Well, Eva, what in the heck is so funny?" I said, "Chuck, I was just laying here imagining how they make condoms."
I think I'll give Chuck a little award.
Give me more.
Just a little award. Just a little award. Just a little flat.
A little plaque. Did you get it? A little plaque? Okay, now, I'll tell you what, Vivian. A Buddhist went to see Chuck. And he didn't, and that Buddhist said, "I don't want any Novocaine." And do you know why?
No,
He
why?
wanted to transcend dental medication. I told Vivian before he got in here, I said, "Vivian, we're going to think we're funnier than they do." And I believe I'm right.
And we didn't even have time to drink any beer. Eva, when I sat in Doc Chuck's chair the first time, he said, "Open up." And I said, "Open up? My mouth or my purse?"
That money again. Well, did you know I went to see Chuck one time and he charged me 3 times? 3 times too much. Boy, was I aggravated with him. And I called him up and I said, "Chuck, why in the heck did you charge me 3 times more than you're supposed to?" He said, "Eva, the last time you were in here, you screamed so loud you ran off 2 of my patients."
Have y'all noticed how Eva has kept getting closer and closer to the microphone? I'm way over here. Oh, Lord, I love it. All right, Eva. Whoops. I had a toothache a few months ago on a Friday night. Oh, hurt terrible, terrible. So I called Phyllis. I knew Chuck had gone on a fishing trip. I said, "Phyllis, when's he going to be back?" "Oh, he ain't going to be back. He's not coming back to Sunday night." So I put ice packs on it. I called the office on Monday. I said, "I got to get in, y'all. I've had a toothache all weekend. My tooth is killing me." "Oh, I'm sorry. We're booked up." What about tomorrow?" "Well, we're booked up tomorrow, too. Let's check our book. We'll let you know when you can come in." Vivian, you can come in next Friday. Next Friday. That's as soon as we can see you. So I suffered with that thing. Oh, Eva, I suffered with it. Went in there. Doctor said, "Open your mouth." Opened my mouth. He looked at me and said, "Oh, Lord, Vivian, you're in trouble." He said, "I can see right now I'm going to have to pull at least 2 teeth and possibly do 3 root canals." And I said, "What?" He said, "Well, what do you expect? You waited so late to get in here."
Well, we all know about that, don't we? Vivi, did you hear the time when that little elderly lady went to see Chuck?
No.
Okay, she was sitting in the chair, Chuck bent over, and oh my Lord, if she didn't grab his private parts.
Oh, my Lord. Let's explore.
And Chuck said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but I think you have your hands where they don't belong." She said, "Oh, yes, I do, sonny boy. And we are going to be careful, aren't we, not to hurt each other?"
But that reminds me of the man who went in there and opened his mouth up. And Doc Harris looked at his mouth and he said, "Oh, you got to have some work done." So he started drawing up his syringe and man said, "Oh my word, no." He said, "You can't do that." He said, "I'm a nervous wreck." Well, I understand that. I'm a nervous wreck. And he said, "Oh, okay. Well, don't worry about it. I'll give you some laughing gas." "Oh, that nitrous oxide, I can't take that. Makes me sick on my stomach." Chuck left the room, came back in, held his hand out, had a little pill in it. He said, "Take this." And the man said, "You mean to tell me that this pill is going to take away my pain?" He said, "No, that's Viagra. It's going to give you something to hold on to."
Donnie to go down and see Chuck on that one. Anyway, speaking of Donnie went to see Chuck, and he said, "Chuck, my teeth are yellow. What am I going to do about it?" And Chuck said, "Wear a brown tie."
Well, you know where he gets that gas, don't you?
Nope.
At the filling station.
And then Chuck and Phyllis went to Panama. You know why? They were looking for a root canal.
He went to Tech. What do you expect? You didn't expect much. What did the little tooth say to Chuck after he left the room?
Don't know.
Huh?
Don't know.
Oh, I lost my mind. Oh, he said, "Fill me in when you get back."
Okay, now you know what? Chuck told me he wasn't painless. That's a lie. That's a lie. When I opened my mouth and he stuck his finger in there and I bent down as hard as I could, he screamed just like everybody else.
Oh, I wonder how in the world he can put his hands in in somebody's dirty mouth. I asked him one day, I said, Chuck, how in the world, all day long, can you take your hands and keep putting them in somebody's dirty mouth? He said, Vivian, I think of it as putting my hands in their pocketbook.
You know one thing that Chuck should never say in front of his patients? Oops, I think we have a gas leak.
And another thing he shouldn't do, you know, he's there working in your mouth and he pulls that drawer with all those instruments out there, you know, grabbing for something. He should never say, what is this doing in here?
Doesn't know his own tools.
Doesn't know his own tools.
Okay, and then one time I went, Chuck said, Eva, I'm going to give you some helium. I said, is that for the pain? He said, heck no, but he said, when you scream, it's going to be so funny. And he said, that'll probably be helping the patients out there. You won't scare off the next time.
Well, I went to him, and, you know, finally, after we got that toothache under control, I went to him, and I knew he was going to pull that tooth. And so I opened my mouth up, and Chuck said, yeah, Stephen, it's got to go. I said, well, how much is it going to cost me? And he said, $500. I said, $500? That's probably 2 minutes' work. $500 for 2 minutes. He said, well, if it makes you feel any better, I'll pull it real slow.
Chuck had this on his bulletin board, and he was so proud of it. And I'm going to read it to y'all. Dear Dr. Harris, thank you for taking such good care of my teeth. I am already 63 years old, and thanks to you, I still have 3 of my very own left. I love you, signed Morton.
Well, you know, he always loved to take pictures. He took pictures of our children. He took pictures of everybody's children, always flipping with that thing. So, you know, they heard at the courthouse that they had an amateur photographer down in Guinea, so they called Chuck and said, hey, important things that happened down there. Will you take a picture of them and send them up here so we can put them in the paper? So Chuck said, yeah, I'd be glad to do that. So pretty soon there was a fire in Guinea, burning off the Guinea marshes so those asparagus would grow. Oh, my Lord, Chuck had to get up there and take a picture. So this was years and years ago when they had an airport near the courthouse. So Chuck called and said, I'm coming up, I need a plane and a pilot. So they said, all right. Well, Chuck, he's already almost in the car. He flew up there, couldn't believe when he pulled in, there sat the plane, propeller going, pilot in there. Chuck jumps in the plane, they take off. Chuck said, okay, I want to go over the Guinea marshes. I want you to go the north end to the Guinea marshes, and then I want you to swoop down. And the pilot looked at him and he said, why do you want to do that? What are you doing? He said, I'm a photographer. He said, you're not my instructor?